In my previous video, I had given you my first impressions of Tirana, Albania, and I had shown you the amazing food that I had when I was there in this capital city. And I had promised that I would show you glimpses of Bunkart, a communist-era nuclear bunker in the middle of the city of Tirana.
Now it's time to check out Bunkart. Bunkart now is a museum. Earlier, it used to be a Soviet-era communist nuclear bunk. So they made it to protect the citizens from some catastrophe which the leaders thought would happen, maybe. I don't know. It's astonishing how they have so many nuclear bunkers in the middle of the city. I've reached the entrance to Bunkart, so you can see this is what a nuclear bunker back in the days used to look like. It's really just smack in the middle of the city. Like, have a look. You have normal buildings which look like government quarters or some kind of government buildings, and just in front of it you have a nuclear bunker. So this is how you go in.
The feeling that you get while exploring inside Bunkart is very similar to what you have at Nazi Germany's concentration camp at Auschwitz. During the communist regime in Albania, the sense of individuality was snatched away from the citizens. They were not allowed to go out of the country, and foreigners were not allowed that much inside the country as well. Albanians were not allowed to possess private properties. The regime was very similar to what you see in North Korea today. While walking inside Bunkart, you'll realize how paranoid the leaders during the communist period were. The punishment for breaking these laws were severe. If you tried to escape the country, or if you raised your voice against the communist regime, against the unitary political party system, then not only would you be imprisoned and ultimately sentenced to death, but all your family members would have to go through the same suffering as well. And not just them, but your next generations would have to suffer as well. Very similar to what we see in North Korea today. Albanians believe that the fall of communism in their country was one of the best things that had happened to them in a very long time.
And just like that, we are out of the bunker. It was a pretty nice experience. Won't say nice, I mean, it was pretty weird. Let me put on the shades, too sunny. So they walk you through the crimes that were made during the communism period. So there is actually Bunkart 1 as well. This one's called Bunkart 2. Bunkart 1 is huge. It's, I think, a lot bigger than this one. But that's a little far from the city center of Tirana. So maybe the next time I come to Albania, I'm gonna check that out along with a lot more of the countrysides of Albania. For this trip, I'm focusing more on Tirana, the cuisine of Albania, and probably tomorrow I'm gonna go somewhere in the countryside. Haven't decided where. The city is really green and I won't say organized, but it's not unorganized. It's pretty nice.
The dark days of communist Albania are over now, and it's really a joy now to walk around the sprawling green and quirky city of Tirana.
Well, these technically were anti-nuclear bunkers. Let's cross the street and go directly to the center of Tirana, the Skanderberg Square. So this is the mosque, and you can, I don't know if you can see, but there are people inside praying. If you didn't know this already, Albania is a secular country, and they drink a lot of raki, eat a lot of pork, but the majority of Albanians are Muslims. It's a Muslim majority country. I think 53% of the population. Anyways, walking around the city, it doesn't look like there's a lot of influence though of Islam over here. So, came out of the mosque. Pretty nice actually inside. And right now, I'm at the Skanderborg Square. It's a huge square, I must say. And unlike many other big piazzas and squares in Europe, this is relatively untouched, and this one is more, I'd say, open. And this is the famous opera of Tirana, and in front of it you have the I Love Tea, I Love Tirana. Pretty nice vibes from this square. So you have some vendors selling a wide variety of things like jewelry, popcorn, paintings, some donuts. The donuts do look pretty appetizing, but I don't think I have space for that. And I think they're having some kind of a spring festival over here. Maybe let's go inside this spring festival place and check out what it's about. So, we've got some food options. Got some nice grills going on. Some nice drinks. Actually, I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to be inside or not, if it requires registration. But I saw a few people entering, so I just tagged along, I guess. I think it's allowed. I think it's allowed. It's for the community. And they're having some live performance over here. So before I get some copyright strike, I'll stop the video here. Now that the sun has partially gone down, the vibes from this place, they're getting even better. This, by the way, is a heart. Pretty quirky city, I must say. I mean, why would you have a heart? And even some of these buildings look pretty weird. Remember the half-eaten building?